NATPE. We were talking about it last night at dinner, 1962, 63, 64. At one point, NATPE really got its start by meeting here in Chicago, he was telling me. He is a broadcast pioneer. You've probably heard of the television program American Bandstand, a fellow named Dick Clark. Dick Clark's career built by this man. Long-time involvement with Philadelphia Phillies baseball, a Pennsylvania broadcast legend and a national legend through NATPE, the founder of the NATPE Association and the Educational Foundation, Mr. Lou Klein.
Means I'm old. Is what well, experienced and old. First of all, I welcome you. I thank, really, the hospitality here has just been fantastic. We thank you and all the people behind the scenes from the station who have really helped to make this possible. You are the ones who are going to get the jobs. I promise. I promise. I'll be back in 15 years to make sure that that's true. You're the ones because you got up on a beautiful Saturday morning and came here. And some of you traveled a good distance, got here early in the morning, and that tells all of us why you are going to get the jobs. And there are jobs. There are jobs. In fact, there are more opportunities today than I think ever in the history of broadcasting. With all, and you just heard some of the many avenues that there are that did not exist even 10 years ago. You are going to get the job if you have the passion. If this is something you really want to do and are determined, you'll get it. I'm going to ask the panelists to each take about 8 minutes or so and say something about what your job is. And listen carefully, because you're going to hear an assortment of jobs that probably you're even unaware of that are available in this industry. What your job is, what do you do, how did you get there, and third, what suggestions you have for these people, young people, who are looking to take your job. After the each panelist has spoken, and all the panelists have spoken, we'll then have time for questions and answers from either one or all of the panelists. I suggest to you that you, one, take notes, and two, write down any questions that you might have, because you might have a question from Victoria, who's the first panelist. And by the way, the panelists are speaking in alphabetical order, so that'll help you to remember. You might have a question to ask Victoria, but you're not going to get the opportunity until the rest of the panelists have spoken. And let me urge you, one little hint, one little suggestion, one sentence of something that sparks in your mind something that you could be doing, should be doing, it makes the whole morning worthwhile. So listen carefully and hear the message behind the message as to how these people have been successful and why they're here. And the other thing I would just like to note is, take a look. There are young people up here on the panel. These are not, to me, everybody's young. They're young people, and that should tell you the opportunity that you have. This is a business where you don't have to be 40 and 50 and 60 years old to be successful. This is a business, and you've heard, people 5 years out of school, 10 years out of school, 3 years out of school. One of the panelists in another city actually was a panelist while she was in school because she had a job. So this is an opportunity for you, young, passionate, and looking ahead to what's the greatest business there is. And you're going to hear why. So Victoria, if you'll kick it off, we'd like to hear from you.
Oh, okay. I can count to 10. You probably need to know that in this business, that you all know. Oh, microphone. I'm a behind-the-scenes girl. I do not like microphones. I like telling people what to do and talk behind the scenes. So I am not a on-air personality. Never wanted to be one. Never will be one. The first thing I started actually at WLS TV. I was an intern here in the creative services department because I wanted to do production. I really wanted to produce music videos when I grew up as a kid, but I did not, look at me, I'm not producing music videos. But if you think about it, on-air promotion is kind of like a music video. So I kind of got my dream in some ways because I am writing and producing on-air promotion every day. What I will say about TV is you have to be adaptable, you have to learn a lot, and you always have to be willing to learn. I started out as an intern here, got a job here, then I went to WSVN in Miami, so I went from the most conservative television station, which is WLS TV, I think, to the most craziest television station in Miami where we could do anything, and I was like, whoa, so I had to totally learn how to be creative in a different avenue from here, because this was very conservative. And then I came back to WLS TV, and then I worked at WBBM, and I've been there for a long time. And you know what, there are going to be a lot of opportunities because in the next 5 to 10 years for you guys, because there's a lot of us that are been in this business 25, 30 that are going to be looking to get out of this business. So they're going to need people to take over what we do. So I think there are a lot of opportunities. Plus you also have like the web. Justin Bieber, like all that, you can actually define yourself on the web. The easiest, you can get noticed. You can start your own YouTube channel, put your own thing out there, get 1 million hits, and you can start making money. I don't know how much, but you can start making money. The web has opened up a whole lot of opportunities. You guys will be my bosses one day because you guys know the web and the internet and the social media. You're way more advanced at that than we are because we didn't grow up with that. I grew up with video. I'm really advanced in video, because I knew TV, and that's how I grew up, watching TV, and so I know. Now there's a couple things that you'll never learn in school that I think that is hard. You'll never learn how to be creative in school. So anybody with a creative mind will do great in this business, but you're not going to learn it in school. You can't teach creativity and style. I think you're bred with it. Or great design. A lot of my great designers that I've seen and worked with in my lifetime, some of them have never had formal design training. They just have an eye for it, and it's hard to teach that. But if you have an eye for it, there's certain people that you just know. So if you have an eye for it and you want to do production and stuff, there will be jobs because it's hard to teach creativity. I don't know how, some people just have it. I've always said it, you either have it or you don't. You either have an eye for this or you don't. So that's my big, and you guys all know if you have an eye. You're all sitting there and going, I got an eye for this. I know what I'm doing. You know if you could do it. You just know. It's an innate ability. So I started in Chicago, and in Chicago, I'm born and bred in Chicago. That's probably why I'm still in Chicago. My family's here. I love Chicago, but then I hate it in the winter. So every now and then I have that moment of like, oh man, why am I here, It's that city you love to hate, It is. I mean, you just love to hate Chicago. We got the Cubs, Every now and then we get the Blackhawks. I've been waiting all my lifetime. I will be waiting all my lifetime for the Cubs to win the World Series. My dad died. I don't think this is going to happen. I really don't. But anyway, good luck to WLS. Hopefully the Cubs will have a good season, And that's my story, so I will pass it on.
Thank you, Victoria. Let me say, as you can see, I am not making any formal introductions for each of the panelists because part of what I expect of them is for them really to be introducing themselves by telling you what their background has been. So I'm saving you that time. Sarah is a producer of Good Day Chicago. Hope everybody has watched that or will after today. And so Sarah, we'd like to hear from you.
Hello, everyone. How are y'all doing this morning?
Good.
Good. Well, I'm not from Chicago. I've actually been here a year. I'm, like he said, I'm the 5 a.m. morning producer at Good Day Chicago over at Fox 32, just right down the street on Michigan. So my journey is I'm actually from Texas. So born and raised in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I went to the University of North Texas. Decided really in high school, I think it was my junior year, that I wanted to really do television, really devote my time and focus, and just, I'm going to school for, TV, communications, journalism, and that's what I did. So my junior year, we had, instead of having like announcements, we had we had like an actual newscast, a 5-minute newscast, and I was in awe, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to inform, educate, and entertain people. And so it started there at my high school. I went to the University of North Texas, hit the ground running. I got involved at our station there, NTTV. So I don't know if you're mostly juniors or sophomores or if there's some freshmen, but definitely if there's a college, station at your university, definitely get involved. I mean, I did everything from editing to audio to reporting to eventually knowing that I wanted to produce. And from there, I graduated, and when you graduate, it's just like, okay, what now? It's kind of like this big unknown. Like you've went through grade school, you've went through high school, you've now went through college, now you are on your own. You have to make your decisions, you have to kind of figure out your own road from there. So I didn't get a job straight out of college. It was hard. I remember I actually was flown out to Tucson, Arizona, KVOA, out there, and I didn't have any experience. I think it was market 64. They actually, ended up going with someone with more experience, had a couple of years. And so I kind of had to figure out, okay, I didn't get that job, keep applying, and I did. And really, it all kind of turned around for me, and I really started getting a lot of interviews is when I changed my cover letter. Everyone that called me after that for an interview pointed out, like, your cover letter was amazing. That's why you stood out. That's why we called you. So really, a recommendation I give everyone is really, if your professors are telling you, like, focus on your cover letter, do that. It really makes a difference. And if your cover letter stands out, you'll get that call, you'll get that interview, and hopefully, get your first job. So I actually started out in South Dakota, Sioux Falls, the biggest station, or the biggest city in South Dakota, market 116, 118. I started out there as a morning producer, did some on-air things, and then was there for 2.5 years. Again, started applying for jobs, got a call, and I applied for the producer position here at Chicago thinking, I'm probably not going to get that job. It was my fantasy job, and I actually ended up getting the job. I got a call and went through the entire interview process, and and I was actually interviewing with some more mid-markets, Oklahoma, Vegas, and actually got a few offers, and of course, went with Chicago. So I came here, and I've been here now for a year. Making such a big jump is challenging, definitely. So like Vicki said, you have to be adaptable. I mean, I'm from Texas, from Dallas, a big city, kind of buckled down and went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where I'd never been to South Dakota in my life before moving there, to now going to Chicago. So definitely be adaptable, like Vicki said too, really be able to take criticism. News is a hard business. You don't always get compliments every day. They just tell you how it is, and you just have to really work hard, really be adaptable, and really be willing to learn something different every day, because you will. And so I'm here now and loving it. Love Chicago. Glad I'm here. If you have any questions afterwards, please ask. And that is my story.
I have a question. I can't wait till the end. How do you handle getting up at 4 in the morning or showing up for work at 4 in the morning?
Well, I actually go to work at 10:30 at night. So I produce a 5
Well, okay.
a.m.
So
show.
when do you go home?
I go home at 6 in the morning. So my schedule, as far as I sleep during the day. So yesterday when it was beautiful outside, I was sleeping. So I sleep during the day. I wake up at 7 o'clock. I get online. I look at, the Tribune, sometimes USA Today, everything. I just kind of scavenge the internet and look for everything that's going on, look at, story ideas, things I can do, talkers for the anchors. And then I go in at about 10:30, and build the show, put it together, go on air at 5, and then I'm normally out the door by 6:30. So it's, challenging, and I did the morning show in Sioux Falls as well. So I've been doing mornings for almost now 3.5, 4 years. And it wasn't really too long. I was sitting right where you were sitting. I mean, I've been in this business for only 4 years. So I get it. And if you have questions, please ask, because I understand how it could be challenging entering the workforce, especially in TV. So.
Well, there are a couple of points. The reason I asked, I wanted to make the point. This is a business that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, your birthday, your anniversary, whatever it is. This is a business that you have to be dedicated to. And again, you have to say to yourself, when I talk about what you need to be successful, you have to sit there and say to yourself, how would I react if someone offered me a job that started at 10:30 at night and went till 6 in the morning? The other thing is, you out of school 4 years. There's a lesson in that. 4 years and a wonderful job, except for those hours, I guess.
Very true.
And the other point that I think you made so well, and this is what I mean, listen to these messages, because they may not make a big deal of it, but it's important. Cover letter. Yeah. Cover letter, she feels, is what opened the door. And I'm sure back at school they'll give you some ideas. Think about it. Look for, you can look online actually to see other cover letters that have been used. Cover letter. Now, is there anyone in the room interested in making money? Oh, I just wondered. Sales is an area that there's not a lot of emphasis in school about the sales position and the sales opportunities in communications. But now we're going to hear about sales. Emily?
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone going? We're hanging in there? Great. So I'm Emily. I'm actually from Chicago, the South Side. Go White Sox. Born and raised, and like other people here, I didn't want to leave. Everyone's like, do small market. I'm like, no, I don't want to. So I currently right now work for NBC I work with the local sales team, but I also work with the national sales team in New York. So I'm doing a little bit of both, where that's a little tougher because obviously they're not in your office, so you're always emailing, on the phone, trying to take care of things. So I'm a client service representative, which a lot of people are like, what is that? So I'm in charge of booking all the advertisement that you see on Channel 5. So you see these commercials, how did they get there? I'm booking them. So I work with a lot of the account managers and the account executives, and we work as a team, and I'm a liaison between the agency and the account executives. They make the deal, they give it to me, I check it over, I input it in the system, and then I work with traffic to make sure everything gets on the air. We're working with make goods. If spots get bumped because we're overbooked, where can we put these back in so the agency is happy? We're also working with making sure the length is right, the rate's right, because it's a lot of money. Like right now doing the Blackhawks, like if you miss one spot, like there goes $30,000, so like you're in trouble. So you have to have a really key eye and a big attention to detail when it comes to this. So I just graduated like 3 years ago. Yeah, now it doesn't seem that long ago. So it was not exactly what I wanted to do. I was always like, oh, production and sports reporting, but I got an internship in Sydney, Australia, working with a radio and TV team. It was called National or Regional Media Works. And I was so nervous. I was like, sales? I know nothing about sales. Like, you don't learn sales in school. Like, what am I going to do? They're like, give it a chance. And I really did enjoy it. I'm super organized and sometimes OCD about it. You could ask my roommate. She calls me Monica from Friends. I know. So it was I really enjoyed it. And then after that, I never thought that I would like something like that. So again, if you have an internship opportunity, take it, because you realize you might actually like something like this. Then I actually had an internship here at WLS AM for programming, so I was helping produce the morning show, which I really loved too. So going out of college, I had 2 great internships under my belt, which is super helpful. So like I said, take internships, even if they're part-time and they're not paid. Both of mine were not paid. And the people in Australia also thought that was insane, which we here in the United States is not. It's just getting the experience under your belt. So 2 months out of school, I got a job with iHeart Radio, which is weird because it was for Clear Channel for me too, and the national sales team as an assistant. And it was a lot of work, and it taught me so much. And the great thing about being an assistant at iHeart, they know that you're not there for the long run. They know you're there to get experience under your belt, and they know like you're going to leave for a better opportunity, which is really great. So it's not awkward after 2 years, a year and a half, that you want to try something more. They do really want the best for you. So after a year and a half, I got the job at NBC as a client service rep, and now I'm trying to work my way up, hopefully in sales or digital planning. My advice to you for getting out there, with iHeartRadio, I actually got the VP's name from someone that knew someone, and there wasn't even any job openings, and I just asked, I was like, hey, I just graduated college, do you have any radio advice for me? I'm looking to get into the industry. So he's like, come in and talk to me. So we talked. I just wanted advice. Like, I know there wasn't any openings. An opening came open. He's like, hey, I think you'd be a great candidate. Come out for the position. So again, a good cover letter, a resume. And if you're interested in a job, then try to get a hold of someone in HR and just ask if you could come in and take a tour or talk to someone that's in the environment that you're working in, and just ask for advice, because then they'll remember your name. And then, lucky me, I was able to get in as soon as I did. So that's my advice. Also, enter programs. Again, I know a lot of you probably know about the ICPA, Illinois College Press Association. Anyone? Columbia? Yeah, you guys usually win that every year. So that was helpful, because I didn't think my projects were good enough. I did a lot of editing too. And my college professor actually entered my project without me knowing, and I won. And so that was also a great thing to have under your belt too, or on your resume. Because I feel sometimes it's hard in production, like, what did you learn? Like, yeah, you could learn, and I have these pieces, but having also like awards under your belt is, I think, helpful, and it shows that you worked really hard at what you did. So I think that's it. Good luck to everyone.
How many of you are interning or have interned? Okay. They got it. You've got to intern. You've got to intern. You've got to intern. I take a message here. 3 words. 3 words. Remember them. Keep your options open. You took a job you didn't really want to at first. You love it, or it led to a job that you love. Keep your options open. If there's an opportunity at a job that isn't really what you think you want to do, if it gets you in the door, take it. And then as your options open up, you have the chance and the opportunity to move from one thing to another. And the other interesting thing is that sometimes the job that you get to have, which isn't what you wanted, turns out to be the job that you are very happy and wanted, but you don't realize it. So, and sales is a place to make money. That's why I ask the question. The account executives, the people who are out selling the advertising, $30,000 for a 30-second announcement?
Yeah. Football's a lot.
That's that tells you the kind of money that's involved as far as the station is concerned. Doesn't mean the salesman gets $30,000, but it's an area that offers opportunity. And it's an area that really is not emphasized very much in the schools and colleges. So we have another producer. Margaret, you're on.
Oh, I'm on. Okay. Well, I love that he just said another producer because that's one thing I want to start with. I have found that word, producer, to mean a different thing at every entity, to every person you say it to. I have friends who are at ad agencies and they're a producer. I'm a producer at a station. People who are producers at a news station versus I've been a producer at a PBS station versus being a producer in the capacity I am now. It means so many different things. So I think it's interesting that he said another producer because we all do such a range of things. So it's always interesting to sort of see what different words mean to different media entities. So since we've been talking about, I guess,